So I've said this before. Traditionally, every single solitary time that universal health care has come up, I say this. Government is shit at running things. It just doesn't run things very well. Because there's a process, right? Now, the process is relatively simple and easy to understand. In normal times, the businesses that are producing, making huge amounts of revenue, they are trusted to pay it back fast. They're the first ones that everybody will immediately prove you. Because you're making an excess of money. If you need a loan for something, we expect that your already very successful business is going to just use this money to make more money, so you will be that much easier able to pay us back. It's a win-win. There's no fucking way we're going to lose on this bet, right? But if you're making not enough to pay your bills and you need a loan, they're going to go, well, you already don't make enough to pay your bills. When are you going to pay us back? So that's kind of a losing bet, right? That's just how the system works. It works that way so that it can work. Like, it's shitty in some respects. It is shitty in some respects. But everything is now a business. Business needs to make money. Businesses need to turn profit. Otherwise, businesses fail and go under, right? So, and everybody wants more money. Because more money means get more shit. You know, more money means you can eat. More money means you can live in a house or an apartment or whatever. Have a car. That's what having money means. It means you can have those things. And it's awesome to have money because then you can have those things. But you don't have money, you don't have those things. That shit sucks. So, where the fuck was I? So, because of the way the system is structured, whenever the government tries to do anything to alter the system goes, but we already have a system. And then it reverts to the old system. It just happens. So now you've got a lot of major businesses who have a lot of money, and they're getting these fucking loans through this program that ran out of money like that. They're getting, loans and stuff. And small businesses are like, what the fuck just happened? Like, we were told we were going to be saved, and now I'm like being told we are out of money. What? And then we're starting to find out who all has been getting the money. And it's the big businesses. And you want to know why? Because they have money. They have lots of money. So they have more shit. Right? If you have lots more money that's disposable, you buy better stuff. Right? If you're living in a shitty one-bedroom apartment and then all of a sudden you're making $150,000 a year, you might go, I don't have to live in a shitty cramped apartment. I could live in a fucking house, spread out some, have some goddamn room. God damn it. And then you start thinking about that shit. And then your lifestyle increases to the point where you're at. My buddy of mine at work, I was talking to him about just his life, all the things that had happened to him. And he was telling me about, the place he lives in. And that he's check to check. And I'm like, you fucking serious? You're check to check. And he's like, yep, I live check to check. And I'm like, how the fuck are you and I living check to check and I'm a warehouse worker and you're the VP of the company? And he's like, dude, when I was a warehouse worker, I lived probably in exactly the lifestyle you live in. And when you get to the point where you're VP, you'll probably be living exactly in the lifestyle that I'm living, check to check. He's like, everybody lives check to check. He's like, do you think actors and actresses keep doing movies because they just love the work. They're not going to do one role for 10 mil and just be like, psh, I don't have to do fuck else. No, they keep doing that shit because they live check to check. By the time the next movie comes out, that's how you know they've run out of money again. Because they needed to re-up their fucking 10 million that they just spent all through in the last couple of years. They haven't done something. Everybody lives check to check. And that's the fucking truth of it, man. Everybody lives check to check. Show of hands. See, everybody check to check. We all live check to check. Right? But large businesses don't always run check to check. So people are going, they don't live check to check. They have a huge amount of revenue stockpiled. Why are they getting loans? What have them spend the money that they have stockpiled? To give us the loans, we have nothing except our business. We haven't gotten to the point where we can stockpile shit. We haven't gotten that big. We're not $1 billion company. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's coming on. You know, the whole thing is coming under criticism. Now, look, everybody who's complaining about this, I would like to point out one giant fact to you. It is possible to learn how the systems of our government, our economy, the whole thing work. You just got to put in the effort to learn how all the shit works. And then you'll begin to find out that the government is fuck all for running shit. Because it's too much. It's too much for a body to run. Like, think about it. Think about it. Think about the size of the United States and the amount of people that we have living here and the amount of industry and shit going on. We've got everything. We've got innovators, we've got tech, we've got farming, we've got normal everyday jobs, we've got fishing to farming, we've got construction to demolition. We've got it all going on in this country. Alright? And not only that, but we've also spread out and kind of infected every other fucking country in the goddamn world. We've got our fingers in just about everything. Right? There's a lot of shit going on. And you expect one group of people to be able to manage that without error. You really think that? Alright, well look, this is why we have the structure that we have. We've got one United States. Right? And that is run by a blanket, overarching government that ultimately says the shit that applies to the country, we make decisions on that. Right? That's why we have a president, Congress, Senate. Right? They make the laws because the laws affect the country. The president enforces the laws that are applied over the country. That's why marijuana is illegal in the country as a whole. But states have said, fuck that, we want to get high. So, a lot of states, I think at this point most states, have voted to legalize marijuana in one form or another. Now the reason they're able to do this is because they have a governor. And the governor runs the state. The whole state, that one little 1/50th of it, they run all that shit, right? Everything in there that is statewide, they make the decision on that shit. Them and their people and all that. They make the decision. Statewide stuff. This is a state law. The state speed on the roads will be this. It is state law, right? State laws. And then each little town and fucking county and whatnot, they all have, you know, mayors and other people that run other shit, you know, whatever. So it's all diced up into little sections. And the reason it's diced up into all little sections is because what happens in one town may not happen in another town. They may have different needs. Rural and urban areas are very different from each other. So you need to have somebody who kind of understands the wants and needs of urban people. This is people that live in urban areas. I'm like towns and cities and shit. Just fucking please. And then you need to have somebody who understands the needs of rural people, farmers and whatnot, right? So you got city boys, farmers, right? They have different needs, wants, and desires. So you have to have somebody who understands that represent you. And that's why they vote for mayors in those little areas. But the governor needs to understand all of the needs of all the people, right? And then the government, capital G, needs to understand the needs of the whole fucking country. And that's why it's diced up that way. And that's why it was kind of funny when Trump's like, I have ultimate authority to fucking say what's going on in these states. Because technically he does, technically he doesn't. He can push a fucking thing if he wants to push a fucking thing for emergency whatever the fuck. But the likelihood that that's going to actually be enforceable is very low. Because states have kind of their own little autonomy. The states' rights, right? Legal weed, states' rights. This is, right? So a state can go, we're opening our shit up tomorrow, I don't give a fuck. And they can do that. Like, they can just go, don't care, we're doing it. And Donald Trump can go, I don't like the idea of that shit. And they can go and fucking do it anyways. And it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, they can literally do that if they want to. And if he wants to push the shit, he can push the shit. But, you know, like, that's how the shit works. But, when they did this, when they rolled this out, I was like, it's going to be fucking big old mess of shit. Because we're essentially borrowing money against our future, right? Because this is just accruing us more debt. And I don't know if you understand that too, right? Like, they just printed a bunch of money. Like, that's what happened. They just printed a bunch of money and said, more money, right? And that's debt. It's debt. The government took a debt on itself, against itself, to just do that. Like, it has to, at some point we gotta deal with that shit, right? So, at some point we have to deal with that shit, and that's gonna be fucked up, to say the least. But nevertheless, it's an emergency, and they went, it's a fucking emergency. We'll just take out the big chunk of money and just divvy it up, right? And when they divvied it up, you know, the Democrats were kind of right. The big companies swooped in with all of their people that they hire specifically to look out for that kind of shit, and went to do that. And they all raced in, and they got preference because they're large companies, so they're going to be able to pay it back. Like, if it gets to the point where they have to pay it back, they'll be able to pay it back. And if it gets to the point where they don't have to pay it back, giving away money to them anyways. I don't know. Because nobody's going to think beyond that shit. You know what I mean? They're, of course we'll give it to you because we know you'll pay it back. Right? The whole system goes back into play. And then all of the smaller businesses, they were kind of like, well, we'll see what's left at the end of all this stuff because, you know, if you guys will be able to pay it back. Because even in this situation, the possibility that even whatever the loan winds up coming out to, you know, we still don't really know what's going on. There is no hard anything. Everything is tentative. So we could be starting up at the beginning of next month, or they could push it another month. Like, we got to get back to work at some point because we cannot just crash and fucking burn and just have anarchy and chaos. Like, can we not do that, please? You know, but at the same time, die from Corona. So we have to like, here's how fucked up this situation is. You've got mayors that are in charge of cities that understand how their cities work and the people and shit like that go on. They're in contact with the governors who are in control of the state. They make the decision on when the state opens up, right? And they're trying to tell them, you know, what's going on. Then that person is trying to collate all that fucking information and break it down and then relay that to the president as we think we can do this now. And the president has to go to doctors and go, well, what do you guys think? And the doctors are always going to go, we should keep everybody indoors so that they don't catch cold. And the president's got to go, if we let people just sit at home for another month, our entire economy could collapse when we come out of this and try and start back up. There could just be nothing left to start up again. And that'll be bad. Because I don't even know how the fuck we deal with that. People will go hungry and die. And that's bad. Or we let everybody go back to work, and then everybody gets this fucking thing and a whole lot of people die. And that's bad. Like what? How do you make that decision? How much information do you think you need to be able to make that decision? To fucking somehow find the sweet spot where you can hit the economy turning back on before it goes too far south it can't come back, and yet not wind up getting such an increase in deaths from coronavirus that it all just kind of top. I mean, you know, like you gotta. That's fucking tough. I'm glad I'm not the president, especially considering everybody in the media is second guessing his every fucking move, and every time he makes a move, they tell him he's wrong, no matter what his move is, even if it's the move they were saying he should have done before, because he didn't do it fast enough or whatever. Like, I would not want to be that man right now. That's a tough fucking call. What do you do? But yeah, they fucking made a gamble, and you know the president's asking a lot of people, telling some people to give the money back, and a couple of places, Harvard, are like, nah, fuck you. No, we got this money fair and square. We applied for it, we got it. And, you know, there's a lot of businesses that are like, holy shit. what just happened? I was saved and now I'm gone. Like, I wouldn't want to be those people either. That's why I'm just a dock worker, man. But yeah, shit. Fuck, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's a rough situation. It really is. Best wishes to everybody out there who's really slogging through it. Again, like I'm lucky. I'm just that damn lucky that I still am working, and instead of living check to check for however long I can stretch it out, I am now flush with cash. But you know, I have to do shit on my car soon that I think is going to cost me like $500, and I still wanted to move next year. Well, this year. In like 4 months, I want to move. So, after that, check to check.